Maryland. A man stole a tow truck belonging to the highway department and committed a serious crime on the roads.
Almost went airborne there, to be honest with you. Losing control, this will do it. A major roll.
After fleeing authorities for more than an hour, a woman driving a stolen SUV lost control and crashed at high speeds in Antelope Valley. Violent crash during police pursuit. The armed robbery suspect not only survived the accident, but also managed to get out of the car on foot.
Crashing into vehicles. 1, 2, 3 innocent motorists just dragging them along, trying to get around and crashing into everybody and everything in his way. On either side of him, he's going to head on. He's going to get into it. There it is.
Long Beach, California, in one of the most dangerous and destructive police pursuits in recent times. A man driving a stolen work truck erratically on freeways and major streets from downtown Los Angeles to Long Beach.
This isn't just one chase, it's a brutal look at a city under fire. In the first half of August alone, Los Angeles saw over 10 dangerous pursuits, each more chaotic than the last. You'll see high-speed hijackings, gunfire directed at California Highway Patrol, speeds hitting over 130 miles per hour, and violent crashes that left people injured. You'll witness a police car get rammed and 2 dangerous suspects escape after a series of carjackings. So while you're here, hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And if you're liking this video so far, give it a thumbs up. Now, let's get back to the action. Like this high-speed pursuit of a stolen Tesla that came to a sudden, horrifying end in South Los Angeles. On Tuesday, August 5th, a robbery suspect in that car was tearing through neighborhoods, putting countless lives at risk. The car slams into a parked vehicle, the suspects flee on foot, and while one is caught, the other gets away. Story of a chase that turned from a chase to a shocking personal encounter in Santa Monica. A man in a stolen white pickup truck led authorities on a chase, all the while taunting and harassing officers. He was seen waving his hands, appearing to dance. Officers attempted to stop the suspect, but to no avail. He veered onto the freeway, reaching speeds of up to 100 miles per hour. The chase finally ended when police cornered the suspect. Predictable suspects.
the course of 2 hours and 75 miles.
Los Angeles. On Sunday evening, August 10th, 2025, a simple police chase turned into a multi-vehicle crime spree, with armed suspects stealing cars and shooting at police, bringing one of the city's busiest highways to a standstill. This wild ride began in the San Fernando Valley, where law enforcement pursued a suspected car thief in a stolen pickup truck. But things quickly took a dangerous turn when at least one of the suspects reportedly fired at California Highway Patrol officers after driving the wrong way on the freeway. The drama was just beginning. The suspects attempted to steal not one, but two different vehicles live on television. While those attempts failed, they quickly jumped out of their stolen truck and hijacked a massive tanker truck, ramming it head-on into the truck to force the original driver to flee. The chase was now a public spectacle, with the semi-trailer becoming a powerful rolling weapon. Truck drivers who witnessed the incident immediately called, confirming that the truck was carrying milk, not hazardous materials. But for the next 30 minutes, there wasn't a milk truck on the road, it was a violent chase. The tanker truck entered downtown Los Angeles, weaving through traffic near skyscrapers, then made a U-turn onto Interstate 10. The chase entered downtown Los Angeles, and for a moment, things seemed to calm down. But shortly after 11:30 p.m., the two suspects did the unthinkable. They made a U-turn onto Interstate 10, speeding into oncoming traffic. The chaos escalated. The two suspects then abandoned the tanker truck and jumped into a third stolen vehicle, a white pickup truck, and sped off again. Police confirmed they found a firearm in the first stolen truck. With a smaller, faster vehicle, the chase intensified. They even made a driver change stop in Boyle Heights, a bold move amid a police chase. But their luck eventually ran out. After jumping out of the white van, the suspects stole a fourth vehicle and, in a final act of bravado, disappeared. LAPD confirmed that the suspects carjacked a fourth vehicle and sped away. That's when police apparently lost sight of them. Police later confirmed that a firearm was found in one of the stolen vehicles. The furious and dangerous chase left behind stolen vehicles and unanswered questions, and ultimately, no suspects were arrested. These armed suspects remain at large.
Back on. Oh, he crashed, rolling over! Crashing over! That vehicle not traveling terribly fast.
The time is just after 9 p.m. in the San Fernando Valley. A fierce pursuit puts LAPD officers in confrontation with a suspect described as armed and dangerous, wanted for assault with a deadly weapon. Under the shroud of the San Fernando Valley night, an LAPD pursuit rages through Van Nuys.
Traffic here at a pretty high clip again. Now in a parking lot, a 7-Eleven parking lot, coming up on Sherman Way, trying to cut through here, presumably making a right turn. He's going to go across the double yellow lines, making a left turn. Making a left turn onto Sherman Way. And back onto Van Nuys. A cut through there completely just to get around traffic. LAPD able to follow him here with their lights and sirens blaring. And you can see a really close-up view of that front left tire. Just trying to get any glimpse that we can. Oh, he's coming up on traffic. Hard braking there. Hard braking at a red light here. Going around traffic through the red light. That was going to be Sylvan, so he's past Van Owen, southbound past Sylvan now, closing in on miles per hour through these narrow streets, making a lot of random turns here. Back on oh, he crashed, rolling over! Crashed into a power car, rolling over, and the wheels are spinning. Let's see if he's able to get out of that vehicle. Right now, you can see that front windshield smashed through there, and it does not appear that we can see any movement right now. He was really not traveling that fast. It looks like he's on the bottom. He's on the passenger side. He might be crushed underneath the passenger side of that vehicle. The suspect possibly ejected from the driver's seat, and now underneath the passenger side of the vehicle, that vehicle was not traveling terribly fast. They were able to drag the suspect now out of the vehicle, and we will...
At Calvert and Cedros, the chase finds its violent terminus. Unable to maintain balance or control, the driver slams into a parked civilian vehicle. That impact sends the already unstable SUV flipping and tumbling violently until it crashes to a mangled stop. In a high-risk takedown, LAPD officers swarm the scene. The suspect, incapacitated by the rollover and likely ejected from the driver's position, is pulled conscious but injured from the wreckage. The chase is over, leaving behind a profound reminder of the cost of desperation on the streets of Los Angeles. Stolen tow truck. The chase began on Interstate 95 in College Park, Maryland. The pursuer was driving a stolen Maryland State Highway Patrol truck. A man got out of his Ford and stole a Maryland State Highway Patrol tow truck. The man was ramming cars like crazy, including a Maryland State Police trooper. Several police officers pursued the truck on roads including Interstate 95, Route 1, Powder Mill Road, Old Gunpowder Road, Conterra Road, and the County Connector. This is Maryland. February 16, 2024. A routine stop turned into an all-out chase through Montgomery and Prince George's counties, all because of a man and a stolen tow truck. The riots began on Interstate 95 in College Park. A driver, after getting out of his Ford, made a daring move. He stole a Maryland State Highway Patrol tow truck and fled, with police in pursuit. This was no ordinary chase. The suspect was seen ramming cars like crazy, including a Maryland State Police trooper, as he plowed onto I-95. The chase unfolded along Highway 1, Powder Mill Road, and other local streets, as officers from multiple departments pursued the massive vehicle. It wound through Beltsville, College Park, Calverton, Fairland, and Laurel, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The chaos escalated dramatically when the truck swerved into a parking lot. It struck a pole, downing a power line, before striking a state police cruiser and several civilian vehicles. But it didn't stop there. The chase continued as the truck veered onto Highway 29, striking more vehicles. The rampage finally reached its brutal climax near Burnt Mills Park. After striking several other vehicles, the truck veered off the highway and crashed into a wooded area near Northwest Branch. The chase ended. A report confirmed 13 vehicle collisions. A civilian and 2 law enforcement officers, 1 state police officer and 1 Montgomery County Sheriff's officer, were transported to area hospitals to receive treatment. What started as a simple traffic stop ended in a massive and reckless act of vandalism. He was a Laurel man with no criminal record, seeking a new life in America. But on February 16, 2024, his life and the lives of dozens of others collided in a terrifying, multi-county police chase that would ultimately lead to a courtroom and a decade-long prison sentence. The chaos began just before 5 p.m. when Maryland state troopers were called to a 4-vehicle hit-and-run on Interstate 495. The driver responsible, later identified as Flavio Lanuza, fled the scene. But his escape didn't end there. Police say Lanuza then jumped into a Maryland State Highway Patrol tow truck that was stopped to assist, and with it, began a reckless, high-speed rampage. The stolen 14,000-pound truck, likened by prosecutors to a tank on the road, tore through Prince George's and Montgomery counties. Lanuza slammed into at least 15 other vehicles, including state police and sheriff's department cruisers. Incredibly, a civilian and a Montgomery County sheriff's officer were only taken to the hospital with minor injuries, a fact prosecutors would later call a miracle. The chase ended when officers surrounded the stolen truck, broke its windows, and took a bleeding Lanuza into custody. He offered no physical resistance. Months later, in January 2024, Lanuza stood in Montgomery County Court. He pleaded guilty to second-degree assault on a law enforcement officer, fleeing from a police vehicle causing bodily injury, and 11 counts of failing to remain at the scene of an accident. His defense attorney painted a picture of a man in crisis. Medical records showed Lanuza had attempted suicide the day before the chase. At the time of the incident, he was suffering from a severe brain dysfunction and dangerously high levels of toxic ethanol in his system, which his attorney argued led to irrational decision-making. Lanuza, through an interpreter, apologized to the court, asking for forgiveness and stating he wasn't in his right mind. But prosecutors played video of the chase in court, arguing that Lanuza had endangered hundreds of lives. They spoke of the terror when he pushed one car, with an 8-year-old child inside, into traffic. They demanded the maximum sentence of nearly 15 years in prison. Ultimately, the judge sentenced Flavio Lanuza to 10 years in prison. He was given credit for time served, but with the possibility of immediate deportation upon his release, his desperate flight in search of a better life had come to a definitive end.
On the glitter of asphalt, the city howls.
Santa Clarita, California. Wednesday, October 23, 2024. The chase began around 2 p.m. The Los Angeles Police Department responded to reports of a stolen vehicle. Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department officers then began pursuing the stolen 2024 Honda CR-V. The driver led officers onto Highway 14 near Santa Clarita. The driver, believed to be a woman, was traveling at speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour into the Santa Clarita area, driving onto Highway 14 and exiting onto surface streets in the Newhall area. The chase then turned onto northbound Interstate 5, where the driver reached speeds of up to 120 miles per hour, even driving off the side of the road to get away from officers. She headed north into Antelope Valley, swerving lanes, even hitting construction barrels in the lanes in an attempt to get away from pursuing authorities while the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department took over the pursuit through Grapevine. The chase continued along Interstate 5 into Kern County, still traveling at speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour. Around Tehachapi, the driver turned and began heading south on Highway 5. In Antelope Valley, the driver attempted to cut through several lanes at 120 miles per hour, but lost control due to a left turn. The vehicle went off the road and into dirt on the side of the road, then lost control. The vehicle rolled over and crashed. A robbery suspect led the Los Angeles Police Department on a wild chase through parts of downtown Los Angeles and Koreatown. Los Angeles, California. Thursday afternoon, August 1, 2024. Suspected stolen BMW. A high-speed police chase in Los Angeles took a dangerous turn as the driver of a BMW crashed into another vehicle before knocking down a pole, hitting a parked car and knocking down a street sign. At Wilton and 5th Streets in Koreatown, the BMW collided with a white Mazda, causing the vehicle to veer off the road and crash into a nearby building. After hitting another vehicle, a parked white SUV, and knocking down a sign, the suspect in the BMW not only survived the crash, but was able to escape the vehicle on foot. The pursuit began after an armed robbery. 3 people, 2 men and a woman, were arrested. A gun was recovered at the scene of the Koreatown incident. No fatalities were reported as a result of the serious crash. Next, Long Beach, California, in one of the most dangerous and destructive police pursuits in recent times. A man driving a stolen work truck erratically on freeways and major streets from downtown Los Angeles to Long Beach on Friday, March 28, 2025, striking several vehicles before crashing into a paint store parking lot and carelessly driving away from the scene. The chase began around 2:45 p.m. near Harbor Highway 110 and Adams Street, according to the Los Angeles Police Department. The truck was stolen from an auto body shop in South Los Angeles. The truck owner stopped the truck and entered the repair shop to collect money, but left the truck running in their parking lot. The suspect jumped behind the wheel and drove off. The driver navigated the surface roads, then onto southbound San Gabriel River Highway 605, striking numerous vehicles, at times exceeding 100 miles per hour. The suspect later made his way through the streets of Whittier, crossing medians, and striking numerous other vehicles as he veered wildly through traffic. He sometimes drove on the shoulder of a busy road, striking countless additional vehicles.
Or he has been going the wrong way. LAPD now trying to get this guy off the road. We'll see if it ends here on surface streets or what he decides to do. But now they've got more surface street traffic to contend with as they try and catch up with this runaway work truck. Again, only the driver in the front there as far as we are aware. Again, this is reported as a stolen vehicle. So a grand theft auto suspect behind the wheel here now with a little bit of empty roadway to play with. Still going to be very difficult. This is not the type of vehicle that's going to be very easy to pit by any means. In fact, most likely a pit maneuver probably not an option just from my vantage point, but you can see it is a flatbed truck that's going to be a little bit top heavy in any event, guys. Especially this time of the day in this type of traffic, and certainly if he continues at this rate on surface streets, we're going to start to see a little more of that pedestrian traffic. Now you can see he is just really looking to squeeze through, and we're seeing some really wild lane changes on top of it. And again, he has had no problem running through red lights, running through stop signs earlier on in this chase, and no problem traveling on the wrong side of the road. Even on the freeway when he was running into a traffic jam, he was just riding the shoulder as... Well, we were told that it was flat. It looks like it's a little wobbly there, but it's a dually, and it looks to be behaving okay for the most part. So we were told that there might be a flat tire there, and it sure appears that there is some damage, but it doesn't really appear. Look at this. Oncoming lanes of traffic over the median, almost a head-on collision. Another wild move here, just jumping over that median without any regard here, squeezing through both lanes of traffic. This is getting crazy, and LAPD is going to have a serious decision to make here in very short order if this continues. This pursuit just took on a whole different profile. When you start seeing that kind of desperation behind the wheel here, he is in very, very real danger of getting somebody hurt, very seriously hurt. He is now traveling southbound on Washington Boulevard. Somebody crossing the street here, now going the wrong way. Light traffic here, but it just takes one wrong move, and he is going to hurt somebody. Look at this. Let's look up ahead here. Traffic coming right in his direction. Everybody swerving to their right. He is traveling on the inside lane, right over that median, and he's coming up on cross traffic. There comes a collision. Just made contact with cross traffic there and continuing right through Chatfield Avenue, southbound Washington Boulevard. A runaway driver here traveling at a very fast clip and traveling very recklessly through the streets of Whittier now as LAPD is pulling back a little bit. When we get a chance, we'll see just how far back they had to pull back because they were unable to keep up with him through some of those maneuvers. But the airship still overhead following this pursuit as he continues to jump over this median, comes up on a red light, and once again back on the wrong side of the road. That could have been so much worse. Yeah, that was a really close call there. Here comes another close call. I mean, he's going through every single red light, barely slowing down. We're not seeing a lot of hard braking here. He's just running for it, gunning through these intersections, and when he sees any sign of traffic in his way, here comes another patrol car going the opposite direction. He just goes right around it without any regard for the traffic coming towards him or without any regard for anybody else's safety for that matter. He really is running like a madman through the streets here, now getting back on the freeway from the westbound side of Whittier Boulevard. And that's going to put him, we're going to be back on the 605 southbound. 605 southbound now from Washington Boulevard. No, he jumped right over that gore point, over the curb there, and you could see why this vehicle may have run a flat tire there. It's just a kind of a remarkable that it's in as good a shape as it is, the way he's driving it. But it is a heavy-duty work truck. Again, dualies in the back there, and you know, just an overall sturdy vehicle that's capable of this kind of driving, but not for long if he keeps this up. Fortunately, this is the exact place you would prefer to see this kind of driving on the freeway. Really takes the risk, some of the risk off the table when he gets off surface streets. When you see somebody who is just that dangerous and that unpredictable, there's just no better place than the freeway. Although at this time of the day, you can see just how much traffic, how many innocent motorists there are even on the freeway here who are now in danger, and without anybody right behind them, they don't even hear those sirens to let them know that there is a dangerous driver in their vicinity. So hopefully they'll be able to catch up with them here. Maybe CHP will take this over, but LAPD right now trying to get back on the freeway. And my concern is that now that he's on the freeway, you see all this traffic, he's going to start to get a little restless. That's just the pattern that these guys tend to show when they get boxed in here. And if he gets boxed in, he's either going to get off the freeway, but he's right now pretty committed to that left lane. And if he gets boxed in and can't get over, you're going to see him resort to some desperate measures here, and we just don't know what this person is capable of. It just seems unlikely, based on what we're seeing here, it just feels unlikely that he's going to suddenly give up. Certainly that's what we hope he will do. He will just peacefully surrender, but that just doesn't appear to be in the cards for this guy, at least not anytime soon. The good news is there is a patrol car right behind him. We'll go ahead and confirm if that is LAPD. I believe it is LAPD. It is LAPD that has now caught up with him on the freeway here. One patrol car, that primary unit, a secondary supervisor, and then you can see at least one or two others behind him. So we've got that work truck now slowing down with traffic in the HOV lane as he travels southbound on the 605 freeway. Yeah, at one point this was almost a slow speed pursuit, but it has really escalated since then, and there has been a lot of reckless driving even before we picked it up, where he was traveling on the wrong side of the road, and just in the last few minutes we have seen more of that really reckless behavior, just pure desperation to put any kind of distance between him and those primary units behind him, and it hasn't really worked, which means he is agitated, he's desperate, and he's resorting to even more dangerous measures. Again, the only semblance of good news here is that he is on the freeway where there is no pedestrian traffic, thankfully, because you saw as we were making our way down Whittier Boulevard and then down to Washington Boulevard, there were people crossing the street. There were just so many other factors and variables at play. It just makes it even that much more dangerous for law enforcement to continue the pursuit. But at the rate he's going, they have the luxury now of just kind of waiting him out. If he sticks with that number one lane there, that HOV lane, and stays on the freeway, that'll, at least burn off a little more gas and give them some more options, hopefully. But as we've already discussed, a pit maneuver in this environment is really off the table. A spike strip is going to be very, very difficult to plan with a guy like this, and also have limited effect on a vehicle like this. So right there, you've got two main tactics that are pretty much off the table if and when this guy even begins to slow down. Right now, he's doing about freeway speeds with traffic on the southbound side of the 605 freeway, where traffic is starting to open up a little bit on the southbound side. Northbound traffic, very heavy on the 605. Southbound traffic starting to improve for him, where there is much less volume. We'll see how far south he takes it, or if he decides to get off of the freeway. He does have a decision to make here in just another minute or so. That's going to be the 91 freeway, I believe. Westbound 22 freeway. So this is going to put him on the 22. Westbound 22, and then heading towards Long Beach. Exactly right. It sure is. Right here. In fact, it's going to end right here. And as I look off the nose here, we are back on city streets where traffic is going to start to increase. Volume is increasing already as he approaches a red light. And now we're going to start to look at this. He's going to start losing control of the vehicle. A little bit of fishtailing as he tried to navigate this little traffic jam here at a red light over the median. Now going the wrong way once again. Going the wrong way on Surface Street once again, around all of that traffic, swerving all the way to the right shoulder here, and he's really having trouble dealing with this vehicle now. If he continues at these speeds, just hit the wall, hitting the wall, crashing into other vehicles. He made contact there with a work truck, a box truck. It looked like he touched it, and is already starting to lose part of that flatbread. Look at this, over the curb, over the median, and this for what? Look at this, crashing into vehicles. 1, 2, 3 innocent motorists, just dragging them along through the intersection at Bellflower Boulevard, passing through Bellflower on 7th Street, going the wrong way again. He has no regard for any of this oncoming traffic, trying to get around and crashing into everybody and everything in his way. Still not slowing down. Lost his tire, Colleen. He's just lost that front left tire. He's now running on the rim here. Heavy damage on that front of that vehicle, with very, very heavy damage on the front end of that vehicle, and that tire is pretty much gone. So at least the front left tire. Oh no. It's not only is it not going to hold, look at this, he's squeezing through everybody coming in his direction. They're all swerving on either side of him. He's going to get into another head-on collision here. There it is, head-on collision into an SUV. We are seeing dozens of vehicles damaged in this pursuit, and that was probably one of the most serious right there. Just ran right into the front of that SUV. CHP has given this up. They have now created distance. They are now putting this back in tracking mode for the time being. They have pulled back, and you can see he is still straddling the double yellow lines, crashing into another vehicle. That flatbed is made of steel that is just doing tremendous damage with very little damage to the vehicle other than the front end damage that we're already seeing there. But what we were saying, Mark, is that front left. Oh, no, there it is! There it is! Two vehicles into cross traffic, a major collision into the front of a paint store at the strip mall at 7th Street and Termino Avenue, ramming right through those two vehicles, the driver stepping out of the vehicle and now walking away from the crash scene. That driver now walking away from the crash scene, two major crashes there, and now he's walking up the sidewalk. CHP is close by, the Sheriff's Department is close by. Long Beach police are likely on their way over here, and hopefully somebody will be able to get this person off of the sidewalk. Right now there are numerous casualties here. Look at the condition of that vehicle. We're going to try and keep an eye on the suspect and also those vehicles as well. We're going to stick with the driver here as he walks up the block here around the strip mall off of 7th Street onto Miramar Avenue. We know that law enforcement is watching our feed right now. We want to stick with the driver as he continues this stroll away from the crash scene. It ended about as badly as we were thinking it might. There were dozens of crashes there. At the very end of this pursuit, he went right through all of that traffic, ramming into everybody in his way, right through red lights, into cross traffic, eventually losing control of the vehicle because of that tire. He was unable to retain control of that vehicle, Mark, just like we were talking about. And he went right into the front of that strip mall. This is Miramar Avenue off of 7th Street in East Long Beach. No, it's LAPD. LAPD taking the suspect down. We're going to come around. Let's come around the tree. And it looks like LAPD has taken this suspect down to the ground on the sidewalk there at Miramar Avenue, just off of 7th Street. Numerous officers, as we come around this tree, now taking that suspect into custody. Absolutely. He's still putting up a struggle. They're trying to get this guy into handcuffs. He is fighting a bit. Can't see what's happening underneath that tackle there, but you can see that they are having a little bit of a hard time as this suspect appears to be resisting slightly here. Very difficult to tell from this angle, but it's all happening right here along Miramar Avenue off of 7th Street here in East Long Beach. We're going to stick with this shot momentarily. We will go back to the crash scene where it did appear at least one of those vehicles, as you mentioned, Colleen, was very heavily damaged, especially the front seats. The driver and passenger seat appeared to be smashed in, and that was just a really high-speed crash here. Looks like they've got this situation under control. Let's take it over to the intersection. Let's take it. Yeah.
As he headed toward Long Beach, the driver became more frantic, speeding wildly down the busy roadway, leaving several vehicles with minor damage. However, as traffic stopped at an intersection, the suspect rammed the work truck into the rear of at least 3 vehicles, cutting through the wreckage. Despite a punctured front tire, the suspect continued to speed, struggling to maintain control, and struck more vehicles before crashing into the roadway. He eventually collided with an SUV and a pickup truck while running a red light. The force of the collision caused the work truck to roll into the parking lot of a Sherwin-Williams paint store, where it came to a stop against a concrete barrier near the front door. The suspect then exited the truck and began shuffling away from the scene. He appeared to have walked several blocks before Los Angeles Police Department officers caught up with him and wrestled him to the ground. Approximately a dozen officers responded to the scene and struggled to apprehend the man. At least one officer was injured during the altercation and later transported from the scene by ambulance. Long Beach paramedics also treated the driver of the SUV the suspect violently struck at the end of the chase and transported him to a hospital in unknown condition. Paramedics were also seen treating the suspect at the scene for unknown injury.
Situation there, and just the way he's driving through
Oh
these,
my gosh.
my goodness.
During rush hour, they turned the freeway into a war zone.
A near head-on collision, very, very close. A very close call there, one of several. More aggressive by the second. He figured, let me just...
Murder in Texas. Mayhem in Santa Clarita.
They have no chance of getting away after this. I mean, this is absolutely a dangerous pursuit that of Soledad, continuing westbound away from Magic Mountain.
An aggressive chase. A stolen vehicle. And the driver was armed.
Get somebody hurt, especially if he continues. Apartment complex or a condominium, a U-turn through the entrance there. Now okay, he's going in circles. He's really faced with this
When the vehicle stopped, the real chase began.
jumping out. Driver and passenger jumping out of the vehicle. Not sure that one CHP cruiser is going to be able to catch up with them here, but they are continuing to race through out of the vehicle, now running for it. There comes another passenger out of the back seat. These kids are struggling, and look at this. He's getting back in the vehicle. Another one back in the vehicle, and finally, CHP in the pursuit now, right by. Is that CHP or Sheriff's?
Thursday, April 21st, 2022. A violent police chase erupted in the Santa Clarita Valley after officers began pursuing a vehicle believed to be in which armed individuals were present. The incident began in Burbank around 4 p.m. and involved a driver suspected of a homicide in Texas, accompanied by minors. The pursuit centered on what appeared to be a Cadillac Escalade with Texas license plates. Authorities later confirmed that the SUV was stolen from Texas, where its 3 occupants were originally from. The chase escalated quickly, with the driver displaying aggressive and reckless behavior. At one point, the vehicle was seen speeding in the northbound lanes of Interstate 170 during rush hour, swerving dangerously through heavy traffic.
More aggressive by the second. At least he's going the right way now, but showing no signs of slowing down.
Not at all.
And I think about that guy who jumped out of the vehicle, and then now he jumped back in the vehicle, and how did he change his destiny when it comes to how this thing is going to play out? It's so dangerous the way they're driving right now. If they are insistent on continuing this is not going to end in a good way. It's going to be a tragedy.
Yeah, I think he saw an opportunity to drop his buddies off, and then the one kid saw the cop pulling up behind him, and he figured, let me just get back in the vehicle. That's what it seems like happened there, but they have no chance of getting away after this. I mean, this is absolutely a dangerous pursuit that law enforcement just can't let this go. This has to come to a stop immediately. So you're going to see this entire area flooded with black and whites here within the next few minutes as he continues now through this parking lot and now coming back out the other side, back onto Valencia Boulevard, getting around that traffic. Soledad, and what was that? Bouquet Canyon and Soledad, got it. So he's on Bouquet Canyon now, off of Soledad, continuing westbound away from Magic Mountain.
All right, so he's flying down in Santa Clarita right now. Luckily, though, and I'm not familiar with the traffic patterns in Santa Clarita, but these roads look wide open. The dangerous part of that is he could really open up the speed and get moving on this vehicle that, again, I'll reemphasize, it's going to be really hard to stop if it has to.
Yeah, the further away he gets from the 5, you can see traffic is a lot less. Opens up the road, as you mentioned, but at the same time, there's just enough traffic in the way here to really get somebody hurt, especially if he continues driving like this, blowing through red lights. And if I really hope we don't see him get back into oncoming lanes of traffic. He jumped over that median without any hesitation whatsoever, and you saw just how close he came to another head-on collision. But at least he's back he's going eastbound on Soledad, and now making a left turn into what appears to be an apartment complex or a condominium, a U-turn through the entrance there. Now he's going in circles. He's really toying with this officer here, just doing a circle around this group of cars, and he's into this apartment complex now, which I think leads him to a dead end. We'll widen out just a second and see if that's the case. You can see LAPD with their airship overhead, California Highway Patrol on the ground down there, now face to face with this CHP officer. He's going for a run. They're both jumping out. Driver and passenger jumping out of the vehicle, running through this apartment complex. Unfortunately, only that one officer that we saw here. Not sure if they're familiar with this complex, if they live in this area, no idea. But in any event, they're running through here on private property, waiting for more deputies to arrive on scene. I'm not sure that one CHP cruiser is going to be able to catch up with them here, but they are continuing to race through these condos here in Santa Clarita. We'll see where this takes them.
All right. Sorry, go ahead, Giovanna.
Just Chris Christie. This is Giovanna Lotta, and alongside Mark Brown, we're joining you now. And what a wild pursuit. These guys are driving, or have been driving, so dangerously, and now we are looking at them running through this complex, putting the people who live here likely in danger.
That's right. Trying to get the name of this apartment complex one more time. But the good news is that LAPD still has their airship overhead. He's able to call out the location and get those officers, even though this is a mutual aid situation. They're going to get the LA County Sheriff's Department involved here as they scale these fences, jumping through backyards, zigzagging their way through this apartment complex. It's now been several minutes since they've lost that initial pursuing officer. Look at this, hiding in the bushes now, looking for any nook or cranny to hide out, thinking they might be able to get away with this. These are two suspects of three. One suspect jumping out of the vehicle, the moving vehicle, earlier in the pursuit, and now these two looking for a hiding spot. But they have just way too many eyes on them at this point, guys.
Yeah, you know, if we can see them, we know the sheriffs can see them, and the LAPD can see them, at least from their airship. They're not getting away. Can you give me some a sense of the location here? We know it's Santa Clarita, and it's a volatile situation. Here's the problem. If you live in this area, they've gone through backyards, and they're going to look to see if there's any open or unlocked doors.
Open
if you
doors,
live here,
yep.
Lock your doors immediately. Lock your doors just as soon as you can. There are two people armed, possibly armed, thought to have been armed, who are now running around in your neighborhood, going through backyards.
One more time, Jay. Yeah, that's right, Mark. Trying to get across street here. We're just off of Soledad Canyon Road, and again, trying to get an exact location. Thank you for that, Jay. Yeah, they're moving towards this pool area. It looks like a pretty big apartment complex. They're on the rear side of it now, just looking for a spot to hide out. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you the name of this side street that they're coming up on. Actually, looks like more of a bike path potentially behind the apartment complex.
Oh, look, there's people there. There's folks there.
Look at this. They're now approaching the pool with people in the pool, people enjoying their Wednesday afternoon, and these two are just running right along the pool deck looking for a hiding spot. We have to remind you, these two are believed to be armed. As they run through here, they're believed to be armed Grand Theft Auto suspects that now pose
and now they're
danger
surrendering
to this community, but apparently they see law enforcement within their line of sight here. There's the officers with their guns drawn, approaching the suspects. Thankfully, appears they're finally giving up.
The chase took a dramatic turn when the driver suddenly veered off the road and entered a Santa Clarita neighborhood. The driver then slowed down to allow the two minor passengers to escape on foot. Aerial cameras captured one of the fugitives briefly attempting to escape before quickly returning to the SUV when he realized officers were approaching. The intense police chase, which lasted approximately 15 minutes, ended with the arrest of two suspects. The two individuals spent several minutes running through a local apartment complex before eventually surrendering to officers. Authorities confirmed the arrest of an 18-year-old murder suspect and two minors following the incident. Police also reported the recovery of a handgun along Highway 118, though its ownership remains under investigation. The incident raised concerns for the safety of local residents, underscoring the severity of the chase that ended the pursuit in their neighborhood.